to the Horror Analog Horror Story YouTube channel. Today we are telling about very different horror story for you. Everyone remembers Scooby-Doo as a funny talking dog and Shaggy and as his crowdly friend. We spent our childhoods watching them solve mysterious and unmasked villains. But what if I told you the masks they removed were the only really things in that town? What if the real monsters were not the people in costumes, but the ones driving the mystery machine? Today, we go deep into the forgotten files of the 1979 Coolsville police reports. What we found will change how you see your favorite cartoon forever. This is the dark truth about the hunger and the never ends. Between 1969 and 1975, a strange pattern emerged in the town of Coolsville. Every single time a masked ghost was caught by a group of teenagers, that person was never seen again. The police records show no evidence of these villains being taken to jail. They simply vanished after being unmasked. Families of the suspects filed missing person reports, but the cases were always closed within 48 hours. The only thing left behind was a green and blue van spotted leaving the scene in the middle of the cold, dark night. Witnesses who lived near the teenagers reported a strange smell coming from the mystery machine. It wasn't the smell of gasoline or old sandwiches. It was a heavy metallic scent of something decaying. A local mechanic once opened the back of the van while they were away. He didn't find mystery-solving equipment or maps. He found chains, industrial-sized meat grinders, and large plastic bags stained with a dark, thick liquid. He disappeared 3 days later. His workshop was found empty with only the single paw prints left on the floor. We always thought Shaggy Rogers was a crowd because he was born that way. He was always shaking and looking behind his back. But look closer at his eyes in the old footages. That isn't the look of the man scared of a ghost. That is a look of man living with the predator he cannot control. Shaggy wasn't running away from the villains. He was trying to keep his distance from his own dog. Every time he offered a Scooby snack, he wasn't being nice. He was feeding a beast to keep himself safe. What exactly were in those Scooby Snacks? The box said they were dog treats, but no pet store even sold them. They were homemade, kept in a special cooler inside the van. According to a recovered daily from the girl who knew the group, Shaggy was seen late at night in his kitchen, processing meat that didn't look like beef or chicken. He would cry while he worked, mixing the meat with chemicals to preserve it. These snacks were only thing that Scooby from looking at Shaggy as his next meal. A Great Dane typically lives for 8 to 10 years, but Scooby-Doo stayed the same age for decades. He didn't age, and his voice became deeper and more human-like over time. Biologists who reviewed the descriptions of the dog noticed something terrifying. His bone structure was too thick, and his jaw strength was 10 times stronger than a normal dog. He could stand on two legs for hours, mimicking human movements. This wasn't a dog. It was a biological anomaly that found the perfect cover as a clumsy pet. Think about the villains they coach: the Black Knight, the ghost of Captain Cutler, the spooky space cock. These were all talented people, scientists, engineers, and actors. Why would they disappear? The truth is, they were chosen. Shaggy and Scooby didn't just solve mysteries, they hunted high-quality targets, people who would not be missed immediately. Once the mask was off, the mystery was over for the audience, but for the victim, the nightmare was just beginning in the dark back of the van. In the original audio recordings of their investigations, there are sounds that were edited out for a TV show between the laughter as a joke. There are low, wet growls coming from the shadows. In one specific recording, you can hear a victim screaming for mercy, followed by a sound of shaving and the deep, destroyed laugh. This laugh did not come from Shaggy. It came from the dog. He wasn't just hungry. He was enjoying the hunt. The clumsy mistakes he made were just ways to trap his prey. Shaggy and Scooby were famous for eating massive amounts of food. They would eat game sandwiches and entire buffet tables, but they never gained weight. In fact, they always seemed hungry, almost desperate. This is a classic sign of the parasite or a creature with an incredibly high metabolism. They needed thousands of calories a day to maintain this energy. When the pizza ran out, they turned to the only other source of protein available in the small towns they visited. They turned to the people they unmasked. In 1918, the mystery machine was found abandoned in the swamp in Ohio. The doors were locked from the outside. When the police finally broke it, the interior was covered in the deep scratches as if something large was trying to get out. There was no sign of Shaggy, Fred, Daphne, or Velma, but on the driver's seat, they found a single collar with the gold tag. The tag did not say Scooby-Doo. It has a series of numbers and the word property of Department of Biological Defense Project Hunger. A retired nurse who worked at the Coolsville hospital claimed she saw a group in 1972. She said they brought in a villain who had been injured, but when she returned to the room 5 minutes later, the patient was gone and the floor was perfectly clean. She saw a dog sitting in the hallway, licking his bones and a satisfied look. She said the dog looked at her and whispered, "Don't tell anyone." She quit her job the next day and moved across the country, living in fear for 40 years. Some believe that Scooby-Doo was a failed experiment from the Cold War, a creature designed to infiltrate the eliminate targets without leaving the trace. Shaggy was his handler. A young soldier was. Some believe that Scooby-Doo was a failed experiment from Cold War, the creature designed to infiltrate and eliminate targets without leaving the trace. Shaggy was his handler, a young soldier whose mind had been broken by the things he saw his pet do. The mystery-solving teenagers were a perfect cover. Nobody suspects the kids in the colorful van. They could travel from town to town, feeding the creature and cleaning up the evidence, all while the world laughed at their silly animated adventures. The greatest trick the devil ever played was making the world believe he did not exist. The greatest trick Scooby-Doo ever played was making us believe he was a coward. By acting scared, he made everyone lower their guard. When you see a dog shaking in fear, you want to protect it. You don't realize that it's waiting for you to turn your back. The innocence of our childhood was a perfect mask for a monster that has been hidden in plain sight for over 50 years. As we conclude in this investigation, we look at the last known photograph of Shaggy Rogers. He is standing in the dark forest looking pale and is skeletal. Behind him, two large glowing eyes are visible in the trees. He is not smiling anymore. He looks like a man who knows his time is up. The snacks have run out, and the beast behind him is no longer satisfied with processed meat. This was a final file in the Coolsville archive, marked too graphic for public release. So, the next time you see a green van driving down a lonely road at night, don't wave. Please don't wave. Don't stop to help if they seem to be in trouble. And if you hear a deep, gravely laugh coming from the dark alleyway, keep walking. Some mysteries are not meant to be solved, and some monsters don't wear masks. They are ones who unmask you. Thank you for visiting Horror Wink Analog Stories. Sleep with the lights on, and remember, the hunger never truly